Hey everyone, it's low carb and keto nutrition specialist Amy Berger from 2itnutrition.com bringing you the one and only keto without the crazy. I made notes. For today, so hopefully I won't forget anything critical. Today's topic is a viewer request. How to navigate the holidays on a low carb or ketogenic diet. There are a couple of points that I want to make, and I'm going to start out with the harshest one. We're going to start out with a big, fat, strong reality check, and then I'll get into the more delicate kid glove type things. So, the first thing I want to say is get over yourself. Get over yourself already. The reason so many of you think, oh, the holidays, what am I going to do? There's going to be the mashed potatoes and the pumpkin pie and the this and the da and the ga. The reason it's such a big deal to you is because you are making it one. The only reason this is this huge thing in your mind is because you have created it to be one. You are telling yourself that story. That is an invented, made up tale that you're telling yourself, and you can choose to change that story anytime you want because this exists all in your head. So you can make something else exist in your head as soon as you choose to. So it's just food. It is just food. Stop building this up to be more than it is. Stop making it this huge, insurmountable thing that it isn't. Now, if I look down, I'm just consulting the notes. So I did a video not long ago that I'll link to in the notes here that was about doing keto when life happens. Well, okay, Thanksgiving is coming up, but then on the heels of that, we just finished Halloween, then there's Thanksgiving, then there's Christmas, then it's going to be New Year's. Right after that, soon enough, there's going to be Valentine's Day. Then there's the Easter candy on sale everywhere. Then it's going to be the Memorial Day barbecues. Then it's going to be the 4th of July barbecues and picnics. Then it's going to be Labor Day. There's always going to be, it's not like, oh, the holidays. We don't go 3 or 4 weeks without a friggin' holiday in the US or some reason to overindulge or to celebrate with food. I don't know about other countries, but in the US, the second they clear away the Halloween candy, the Christmas stuff is out. So there's always going to be something coming at you. And you have to decide that in your food life, in your approach to your diet, to how you eat, you're either gonna be a low carb eater or you're not. Why do you have to completely abandon your normal dietary habits just because it's Christmas or because it's Valentine's Day or because it's the 4th of July? If you're a low carber, you're a low carber, and it doesn't really matter what the date says on the calendar, right? So you're just either gonna stick to this or you're not. Like it's as simple as that. And let me see. Sorry, I don't know that these are necessarily in order. Yeah, stop making it to be this enormous obstacle in your life because you know what else Thanksgiving is? What is Thanksgiving? It's a Thursday. Whoop-de-doo. Why does that have to be different than any other Thursday, any other time of year? Oh, because it's Thanksgiving, I was rendered physically incapable of eating meat and non-starchy vegetables. Because it was Thanksgiving, somebody tied me to a chair and forced pumpkin pie down my throat. They tied me to a chair, they held a gun to my head, and they crammed mashed potatoes down my throat. No. You do not lose autonomy over what you choose to eat just because it's a holiday. Grow up. Take responsibility for yourself. Oh, that was the pumpkin pie. Did somebody shove that pie down your throat? Did somebody like they feed the geese foie gras, with the they force feed them figs or they force feed them corn and grain to fatten the liver to make foie gras? Did somebody tie you to a chair and put like that pump down your esophagus with cranberry sauce? No. So, just because it's a holiday, you do not you're not programmed that every December 25th you are literally incapable of not eating sugar. Stop telling yourself these stories. Just because it's it. So what is Christmas Day? What is New Year's Day? Oh, it's a Saturday. Just like any other Saturday, any other time of year. You don't have to go completely off the rails just because it's Christmas, just because it's Easter, or whatever it's going to be. Okay, that was the hard stuff. That was the reality check that some of you really need to hear. But I'm very adamant, and I often say that indulging once in a while is really not a big deal. No, none of us became overweight or obese, or none of us had, developed diabetes or PCOS or all of that metabolic syndrome. None of us developed any of those things because we were overindulging a few times a year. The problem is that we eat like it's Thanksgiving 365 days a year. I say this, we just finished Halloween. Every Halloween, the keto people, they go crazy because God forbid their kid eats 2 pieces of candy. If your kid only ever pigged out on candy once or twice a year, even 4 or 5 times a year, it would not be a problem at all. The problem is that our kids and we adults are eating sugar and starch nonstop every single day from the time we wake up till the time we go to sleep. That's the problem, not the Halloween candy once a year, not the Easter candy once a year. So I really don't think it is a big deal if you choose to indulge or go off plan or whatever. I don't like the word cheat. You're not married to your diet. You're not cheating like you're cheating on it's a diet. And there's a lot of things that suck about being an adult. One of the nice things is that we are 100% in charge of what we eat. Like my friend Casey Durango from Go Keto with Casey says, no one gets a vote on what you eat. We get to decide what we eat. And if you are choosing to have something higher in carbs than you normally eat, great. Make the decision, own it, and enjoy the hell out of it. Relish that food, savor it, make it worth it, and move right on. To borrow a phrase from my friend, Dr. Eric Westman, he says, don't, if you are going to indulge for a holiday or a challah meal, one meal, don't let a holiday spiral into a challah week or a challah month. So if you are going to choose, you're going to make a conscious decision to eat something higher in sugar or starch than you normally would, don't, enjoy it, be done with it that day or the next day, and get right back to your normal eating. Don't let that spiral into a 6-month bender where you end up regaining 30 pounds and you bring your diabetes back that you had put into remission. You bring your PCOS back that you had gotten rid of. Don't let that happen. So with that in mind, you have to know yourself. You have to know yourself. Because for some people, they absolutely can have that one meal or that one day where they're going to eat whatever the heck they want. Calories, carbs, fat, protein, sugar, does not matter. They're going to eat it and they're going to love it. And next day, right back to normal with zero problem. Cool. Other people among us cannot do that. If you know that you can't, if you know that the one cupcake or the one piece of pie or the one serving of mashed potatoes or corn or whatever it is, cranberry sauce, the one thing is going to put you on that 6-month bender, then don't do it. Don't do it. You are better off just not having the thing, just resisting, Like I said, if nobody's forcing you to eat that, then don't eat it. If you know, you can predict that only, mayhem and self-destruction is going to come out of that, don't do it. Don't get into it. Couple of other things. There's, thanks to some very, very creative cookbook authors and recipe developers out there, there's I've been eating low carb for a long, long time now. When I was new to this, there were recipes, there were some online recipe sites and like some limited cookbooks, nothing like there is now. And with all of the recipes that are available now, and how almond flour, coconut flour, allulose, whatever, all these different ingredients are so much more readily available, even at some regular grocery stores. You don't even have to go online to get the stuff anymore. They have it like everywhere now. There's no reason that you have to eat a higher carb version of something that you could make a perfectly delicious low carb version of if you feel like it. If you could make a keto pumpkin cheesecake, you could make a keto coconut pie, you could make cranberry sauce sweetened with Splenda or allulose or erythritol or something. There is literally not that I can think of, there's no item that you can't make a low carb version of. So even if you want to have all your traditional holiday favorites, you can absolutely replicate them with low carb versions if you want to. So that's another strategy to do it. Have everything you want, just make it low carb. It's a pain in the butt. It's a lot more expensive than just making the traditional version, but what is it worth to you? Is the extra expense worth it for you to know that you got through the holidays staying pretty darn low carb? So the other thing I want to say is, if you do choose to have things that you don't normally have, this is just my advice. You, as always, you do what's best for you. I would advise you to stay off the scale. If you know that you've indulged in more carbs than normal, don't weigh yourself. Save yourself the anguish, save yourself the spiral, save yourself the shame and the self-recrimination. You know you're going to be up a couple of pounds, but what you don't understand, most of you, is that that is just water retention. You didn't gain 5 or 6 pounds of fat in 2 days or 3 days even. That's just how now that your glycogen stores are replenished, you got all the stored carbohydrate. That's like a sponge. It's going to suck up all this water and hold on to it for a couple days. As soon as you get right back to very, very low carb and that glycogen goes away, the water is going to go away with it. Remember how when you were new to keto, I hope somebody told you, maybe you didn't know, like the first couple of days, you do lose a lot of water. People, oh, well, all you lose on keto is water weight. Yeah, for the first couple of days, then you get into losing all this awesome body fat. The reason you lose all that water is because as your body lets go of the stored carbohydrate, it drops all that water. So when you eat more carbs than normal, you're just doing the reverse process. You're going to hold on to more water. So if you know that you've eaten more sugar or starch than you typically do, just stay off the scale for a few days. Don't invite that negative, self, whatever you're going to do to yourself if the scale is up. Just don't do it to yourself. Why? I would also recommend that if you are someone who normally measures your blood sugar or your ketones, also stay away for a few days. Don't measure. Now, if you have diabetes and you check your blood sugar for the purposes of dosing your insulin or other medications, then yes, you need to check. But if you have diabetes, maybe you don't want to be indulging in the pumpkin pie, or maybe you make the keto version. But that's also not my judgment call. That's you. I don't care what you choose to do. Like, if you want to eat the real thing and understand that your blood sugar is going to be really high for a little bit. Okay, no big deal. Get right back on plan. But if you are someone who really normally tracks and measures all this stuff, I would just encourage you to not track and measure and weigh for a few days if you know that your eating is not your normal eating. Just save yourself the anguish, save yourself the mental, the head games. It's just not worth it. So what else? Oh, okay. 2 more things. The first is, I am not necessarily encouraging you to indulge or go off plan or whatever you want to call it. Like, there's no reason to do that pretty much ever. I've never, ever been to a holiday celebration where there wasn't some kind of protein option, chicken, turkey, rib, meat, whatever, a charcuterie board, salami, prosciutto. a nice cheese tray, raw vegetable crudité. You know, I've never been to a holiday gathering where there wasn't some food that was low in carbs. So you don't ever have to eat off plan. Like you really don't. Even if you're hungry, you could just wait till you get home. Like you're not going to die from starvation if you go through a 3-hour holiday party without eating. Maybe you have a diet soda, or you have a what, you know, don't drink alcohol on an empty stomach on keto, but you don't have to indulge. You don't have to go off plan. But I'm just saying, if you do, which is totally fine, if you do, just know whether that's a wise choice for you, and, you know, stay off the scale if you think that's best for you. And like, don't, it's really, like I said earlier, it's so not a big deal to eat carbs like this and really enjoy once in a while. That's not the problem. The problem is that we eat garbage all day, every day, at least in the US. That's the problem, not the holiday indulgence here and there. So yeah, not necessarily, I'm not recommending that you eat all the sugar and starch you want, or, you know, encouraging it, but just, if you're gonna do it, own the choice, accept responsibility, and get right back on plan like an autonomous adult who cares about themselves. Okay, next thing I want to say is that some people out there might be alone at the holidays. I have spent more than one Christmas. I mean, I'm Jewish, but it's nice to be invited to friends or family, you know, other extended family for Christmas. I've spent Christmases alone. I've spent some New Year's Eves alone. I've spent Thanksgivings alone here and there throughout the years. And it's a bummer. It is a bummer. It can be very isolating. It can feel very sad. You feel very kind of just uncomfortable, agitated, out of sorts. If that describes you, if you're going to be alone for some portion of the holidays this year, and you think or know that you are likely to soothe yourself with food, or comfort yourself or numb yourself out with food, A, I don't think that makes you a bad person. I don't think it makes you a failure. C, I am sending you lots of love and hugs, because I know what it feels like to be by yourself for the holidays. And some people don't care. Some people, depending on your family and friends, you might prefer to be by yourself on the holidays. And like, we can probably all understand that to some extent. But assuming you don't want to be by yourself and you find yourself alone, here's how I would deal with that if you think that you're going to be drawn to food to sort of get you through. I would say this is sort of the perfect, now of course we could learn to navigate difficult times without numbing out with food, you know, like I think, sorry, I'm 18 minutes into this video and I've already forgotten what I started out with. I think I mentioned the video I did on staying keto when life happens, because there's always going to be difficult times. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be curveballs thrown at you. We have to learn how to not eat sugar and starch just to get through life and to survive a day, a difficult time. So, or not even turn to food at all, even if it's low in carbs. Like, we have to learn how to deal with our problems without eating them away, because that doesn't work. But putting that aside for now, let's say you need something to help you through that difficult time. My friend Dr. Tro Kalayjian has that phrase you may have heard me say before: binge low carb and live to fight another day. Now, we're not talking about binging here, but I would say if you feel the need to indulge at the holidays, to take the edge off of you, of the loneliness or the fear or whatever, I think this is actually the perfect time to indulge in very luxurious, low carb foods that you don't normally eat. For example, some of my favorite cheeses are upwards of like $30 a pound. That's not something I'm buying on a regular basis. A couple of times a year, I might treat myself to a little wedge of it, right? So if that resonates with you, the holidays maybe is the perfect time to treat yourself to that sort of expensive luxury food item that you would not normally buy on a regular basis. Same thing with the prime rib, maybe. Just because you're going to be on your own doesn't mean you can't cook a 2 or 3 rib roast. Eat one, it's delicious. You have one for the next day, you have leftovers. Like, it's okay to cook in bulk just because you're one person. I do it all the time. You could indulge in like a seafood spread. Get yourself some shrimp, make a keto cocktail sauce. There's recipes all over, sugar-free cocktail sauce, or make like a homemade melted garlic butter to dip shrimp or lobster scallops. It's, even make yourself a porterhouse steak, whatever it is, something that you would not normally do. If you're going to indulge in food, if you're going to soothe yourself with food, you can soothe yourself with low carb foods. And I can hear my friend Casey, the Casey Durango, like telling people, stop soothing yourself with food. If hunger is not the problem, food is not the solution. And she's right. That's absolutely correct. But I also recognize that this is going to happen sometimes to some people. And can we navigate that in a way that is less metabolically harmful, so to speak? If you're going to indulge, if you're going to comfort yourself with food, let's comfort ourselves with low carb foods. We don't have to comfort ourselves with sugar and starch, right? Now, I think that's all the main points. Let me just keep here for a second to make sure I haven't forgotten anything major. Yeah, I mean, you never have to eat off plan. You never have to eat sugar or starch, whether it's the holidays or not. Like, you can just choose to eat low carb because that's what you do. But if you are going to indulge, which you are well within your right to do as an adult human, do it sensibly. Do it for the one day or even the one meal or even a weekend, whatever it is, and then get right back. That's probably all. This probably doesn't need to be a 40-minute video. Stop making it such a big deal. The only reason the holidays seem like such a big deal is because you are making it out to be one. Just like you're blowing it all out of proportion, you can also kind of rein it in and minimize it. Really no big deal. Christmas is one day, New Year's is one day, And I guess that's it. All right. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.